Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Locks Don't Lie Weekend Preview Show. I am your host, Tony Betts, and as always, before we get to Tony NASCAR, why don't we preview our betting weekend at the Indianapolis Road Course? To kick off the first round of the NASCAR playoffs, Tony NASCAR did what he has been doing all year in the truck, and he bet an outright winner, and that outright winner finished in P2.
Heart been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe.
That's 6 outright winners that he's bet in a row in the Truck Series that have all finished in P2. But we move on to winning. We move on to the winners because that's what we do, is we cash tickets here at Locks Don't Lie. And just like the week previous and the week before that, you were giving out 2 winners on this show right here last week. First being the dinger, the road ringer. They disrespected that man, AJ Allmendinger, with an opening line of plus 600, closed as the favorite, drove like the favorite. Always a safe bet in the Xfinity Series, and he cashed that ticket home for Tony NASCAR. Then moving on to the Cup Series, another 3-in-a-row streak for Tony NASCAR as he cashes his 3rd Cup outright in a row on Tyler Reddick 10-1. Gave that out for a full unit already on the Locks Don't Lie Weekend Preview Show before practice. Doubled down on that after practice and qualifying Sunday morning with a plus 550 and a plus 160 top 3 bet. Also put in a head-to-head Tyler Reddick against Chase Elliott because he was so confident Tyler Reddick was going to win that race. Cashed all 4 of those tickets, and we finished the weekend 7-17, almost to that plus 10 unit mark on the week. And as you can see here, we aren't the only ones cashing tickets at Locks Don't Lie. You guys win as well when you watch along. But that's enough of our victory lap. We do not do those for long around here. Let's move on to the big old 2-mile track up there in Michigan.
It was summertime in northern Michigan.
Step on in here, Tony, but not too close. You are on absolute fire right now. How's it feeling?
There is no fire.
He's jumping on Ricky, trying to put the non-existent fire out.
Now that's a teammate right there.
Well, it does feel great, Tony. 3 straight Cup wins, 3 straight Xfinity wins. And if it wasn't for that pesky Truck Series and those 6 straight P2 finishes, we would be looking really, really nice this year. But why don't we move on to Michigan, Tony? We have the Xfinity and Cup Series this weekend at the big old 2-mile track. Big 2-mile track it is up there at Michigan. Why don't you go ahead and preview the Xfinity race? Well, Tony, without even looking at the odds this week, blindly just thinking about who I want to bet this week, I have Junior Motorsports.
I wasn't really excited about change that much up until a lot of change started happening, and you kind of had to get used to it. But now let's change it all. So
Sports on my mind. They've been absolutely dominant this year, winning damn near every stage in the ovals this year that the Xfinity Series has gone to. The only other driver you could possibly think at looking at is Ty Gibbs. Plus 450, as you can see here, Ty Gibbs. He's one of the co-favorites for this race, along with Justin Allgaier, and at the very top you have Noah Gregson plus 400. I was hoping for a little bit better of a number on Noah Gregson. I really liked him without looking at the odds this week, but seeing that he's plus 400 and some of the other drivers grouped at plus 450, I'm not sure if I can really bring myself to that. I'm not sure even the number I'm going to get at my book. It's always usually a little bit worse. One driver I will take a look at, though, very seriously is Ty Gibbs at plus 450. If you look at the green flag speed, early run speed, and late in run speed from last year's race, the only driver in this race who's beating Ty Gibbs is AJ Allmendinger or a Junior Motorsports machine. So I think Ty Gibbs at plus 450 is a very smart bet, along obviously with those Junior Motorsports machines. Usual suspects there, Tony. Anyone down the board you like? I hate to be only on the favorites, so let me point out a couple people down this board that I do like. A couple names I like. Sam Mayer, 12-1. Like I said, I already highlighted Junior Motorsports, but he's the longest of the Junior Motorsports drivers down here at plus 1,200. I do like that number on Sam Mayer. Otherwise, the only other 2 drivers I could possibly put my money on besides Ty Gibbs or a Junior Motorsports driver is going to be Brandon Jones or AJ Allmendinger. Like I said earlier with Ty Gibbs, when you look at the late run speed, early run speed, and total green flag speed from last year's Xfinity Series race, the only names at the top of that list are Brandon Jones, AJ Allmendinger, Ty Gibbs, in junior motorsports machines. Brandon Jones, a surprising name I saw, but if you didn't like the favorites listed here, I would suggest taking a long shot in Brandon Jones or AJ Allmendinger. Perfect, Tony, just what we were looking for. Why don't we move on to the Cup Series? For the Cup Series, Tony, to gather my data points, I'm looking at some previous races at Auto Club, Kansas, Michigan, and Charlotte. Got it, Tony? We'll break the numbers down to us. What'd you find? If you take a look at the top names that have raced at Michigan, sorted by driver rating here since 2019, and then if you take a look at the top names since 2019 at Kansas and sort them by driver rating, you'll notice a lot of the same names at the top of this list. Kansas is widely regarded as a mini Michigan. Now, when you look up the previous race results from Auto Club this year and you look at the driver ratings and how they performed, you see similar names to the names that have been driving up front all season long. I think that this and the previous Kansas race are going to be my most used data points when handicapping this week in the Cup Series, just because of the next-gen car and seeing these drivers that we've seen up front all year long. I do like using the previous races at the tracks that correlate well from this year specifically, even though it is a small range of data points, usually only one race. Well, that makes sense, Tony. So what'd your numbers bring you to this week? Well, you see our usual suspects here, Tony. Kyle Larson at the top of the board. He won the race at Auto Club earlier in the year and finished second at Kansas. But it's being overshadowed by his Hendrick teammate, who's been on an absolute tear this year and is also the co-favorite with him, Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, since Sonoma, his finishes have gone like this: 1-2, 1-2, 1, 16th, where he got dumped after climbing into the top 5 last week at the Indianapolis Road Course. So I think two of the obvious drivers are the Hendrick Motorsports machine of Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. You have to look at them this week. Those are your favorites, Tony. Do you have anybody down the board that you want us to take a look at? Yeah, Tony, I do have a few drivers I would like to highlight down here, down on the odds board. First, quickly, last week's winner, the Red Dog, Tyler Reddick. Once his team at RCR took a few weeks to sulk about him going in 2024 to 23 XI Racing, they came right back out in the first race they actually tried to. They won and dominated last week. Red Dog won both stage 1 and 2 at Auto Club earlier this year before running into tire problems.
A vibration, he's saying it's a right rear flat.
And finishing a lap down in 30th place. Action Network's Nick Giffen has been working on a new metric called healthy car speed. This is where he takes a look at the green flag speed from a car who might have gotten involved in an accident or something during the race, and therefore it negatively affected their overall green flag speed at the result. So when you look at the green flag speeds from this year at intermediate tracks, there are some drivers who got involved in crashes that are down in the list who should definitely not be down in the list. For example, Tyler Reddick and his tire problem at Kansas, with him finishing in 30th, 1 lap down, that resulted in him having a 14th total green flag speed. This does not reflect how fast he actually was in that race before his tire problem. And according to the Action Network's Nick Giffen, he actually has the fastest healthy car speed out of anybody in the field at the two most correlated tracks to Michigan, Charlotte and Kansas. With that stat there, I love Red Dog at 12-1, but you guys know my superstition about betting on a driver 2 weeks in a row after we just cashed on him the week before that. So I have a couple more drivers I would like to highlight, including a Trackhouse driver of
Suarez, the Mexican.
One number I'm definitely looking to get my money down on pre-practice, pre-qualifying is
Suarez, the Mexican.
At 25-1. A lot of people are on
Suarez, the Mexican.
This weekend because of the speed that he possessed at Kansas, Auto Club, and Charlotte this year. With him getting involved at a crash at Kansas, driving around in a damaged car for the rest of the race, his green flag speed is definitely not correctly reflected by how fast he was before his damaged car. Action Network's Nick Giffen has his healthy car speed as the 4th fastest at Charlotte and Kansas. I don't think the books are taking into account Trackhouse's consistent speed that they've had all year, especially
Suarez, the Mexican.
It's not just Ross Chastain that's being consistent for Trackhouse.
Suarez, the Mexican.
Running in the top 10 and up front consistently everywhere. Like I said earlier, Kansas is looked at as a mini Michigan. And a few drivers with a great speed at mini Michigan, as you can see here, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, and Ross Chastain. Kurt won the Kansas race earlier in the year.
No! Larson's in the wall!
With Kyle Busch having the fastest green flag speed and Ross Chastain tailing not far behind. Kurt also has the third fastest healthy car figure at Charlotte and Kansas, so I think a popular underdog this week to take a look at is going to be Kurt Busch, as well as his teammate in the 23XI machine in that 23 car, Bubba Wallace. Like I said, Pokaho week, Bubba loves these big 2-mile, big speedway-ish tracks. This is the perfect track for Bubba. And Bubba has the 7th fastest healthy car speed figure, according to Action Network's Nick Giffen. So I love a little sprinkle this week on a 50-1 Bubba Wallace. As always, Tony, I appreciate you taking your time for us this week. As always, Tony, it's a pleasure, and thank you for having me. Why don't we go over our official picks for the weekend? Looks like Tony NASCAR was able to bring himself to quite a few bets here, pre-practice, pre-qualifying for the 2 races we have this weekend. Let's go over all of them here right next to me. As you can see here, up at the very top, starting off with the Xfinity Series, we've got Ty Gibbs plus 450 for a full unit, Noah Gregson plus 400 for a full unit, and then we have half of a unit on Brandon Jones plus 1,200. Tony NASCAR going with his gut feeling at the beginning of the week without looking at the odds of Noah Gregson, and then also taking Ty Gibbs as a no-brainer bet, and then the surprising speed of Brandon Jones that he saw in his research. And then in the Cup Series, we have 2 units spread across 5 different drivers this weekend. A quarter of a unit on Bubba 25-1, a quarter of a unit on
Suarez, the Mexican.
25-1, a quarter of a unit on Austin Dillon 50-1, and a quarter of a unit on Kurt Busch 25-1. Also has a full unit down there on the favorite, Kyle Larson plus 700. That's going to wrap it up here at the Locks Don't Lie Studios. For Tony NASCAR, I'm Tony Betts. May the winners be yours. Locks don't lie.